Hello, my name is B, short for Benji, and you're watching wowacoolusername. You'll never guess who I am. Actually, probably will. It's a very low budget cosplay because I don't have the yellow gloves or an actual trench coat. I'm literally just wearing another button up over top. So, I watched Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel, Season 3 of Clone High, and Season 2 of the Total Drama reboot. Which means I have a lot to talk about because, oh my gosh. So I'm going to get the Hazbin Hotel one out of the way because I'm not as well versed in the Hazbin Hotel lore, and I haven't been waiting for it as long as some people have, because I've only been waiting for it for like a year. Either way, it was really, really good, in my personal opinion. There's always going to be one person that's going to be like,
it was not that good.
But I personally found it was really, really good. And so basically, I liked their redesigns, and I liked all of the songs pretty much. I don't think there was a song I didn't like. I don't know. They're all on my playlist at this point. It was so good. I don't really have a lot to talk about it, honestly. It definitely did give some insight into the Helva Boss Hazbin Hotel universe, because we actually got to like go into heaven and see how their hierarchy system works, which is very fascinating. We got seraphs and stuff, which are actual things biblically. And I also liked the designs for all the characters, and I think it was just lovely that Sir Pretentious got to go to heaven. And I had a feeling that since they mentioned Lilith in the beginning of the series and that she was gone, she would definitely make an appearance at some point. Like Chekhov's gun, if you mention it, you have to use it. So I knew she was going to be mentioned again in some sort of way. So the reveal that she was just hiding out in heaven wasn't really a shock to me because I was waiting for her mention. Again, it wasn't a shock, and I still don't know much about Lilith either. What doesn't really make sense to me is the daddy issues between Charlie and Lucifer. I don't really understand that 100% how that happened, but I'm not a dad.
And mine is dead.
So how am I supposed to know? Anyway, we're gonna be moving on to Clone High Season 3 because I have a lot more on that. It was so good because it just, oh my gosh. I have a lot. The relationships were all over the place. I have a Google document full of crack ships. Let me open it really quick. Sorry. There it is. Sorry, it took me forever to find it, but I have a bunch of crack ships. Basically, this is everything within the Clone High universe that I ship for no reason and only for the fact that it's kind of funny. So I think Joan, Cleo, and Frida should be a polycule. I think JFK and Abe should kiss 100%. They had too much sexual tension throughout the entirety of Season 3, basically. And JFK said he would fuck Abe. I think JFK and Confucius should definitely have a relationship. I think Abe and Topher should have a relationship. I think Scudworth and Mr. B should have a relationship. I think Scudworth and Candide should have a relationship. And here's the last little bit of my crack ship list, essentially. So you know the episode with Skunky Poo. Hear me out, okay? Scudworth, he had like a flash forward where he imagined him and Skunky Poo having some sort of like weird romantic relationship. Well, I think it would have been incredibly funny if they continued on with that and ran with it. They do have chemistry, and they both have admitted that when Skunky Poo was trying to trick him into something by, them talking over a dating website, Scudworth said, "Didn't you feel anything when you wrote those romantic letters?" Skunky Poo was like, "I did." And I'm like, oh my god, focus. This stupid camera. Weirdly enough, the flash forward was enough to convince me of the relationship. Please do not agree with me on this because it means I'm mentally insane, and I don't want you to be mentally insane. I just think it would be super funny if they ran with it, but they shouldn't. Another thing that I thought was weird was Frida and Cleo's breakup. I understand that Cleo is kind of a selfish person and always has been, but the thing about character flaws is that you can work through them. And that could be something that Frida could change in her and make her less selfish. And we kind of saw that in the snow trip episode where she decided, okay, fine, I'll wear the sweater my girlfriend got me, or the snowsuit my girlfriend got me, because my girlfriend got it for me, even if I do wear it my own way. And I feel like instead of breaking up and trying to change Cleo's outward appearance, you should slowly work on making her less selfish. Working towards bettering yourself with the help of someone who loves you and wants you to be better is generally a good thing in these kind of more fluffier romances. But the fact that Frida's dad is kind of an asshole... Ugh. Like, how did he raise Frida to be a generally good person while being overly judgmental himself? He didn't for a moment think, this girl has been absolutely mean to her mother, but then this girl, Cleo, that resembles the girl who was mean to her mother in a sort of a way, just told him that the girl who was being mean to her mother had an alcoholic mother who was currently drunk at the time and was just trying to help her get to the place she needed to be. She's an asshole because I said so, not because she was trying to get her mother, who was acting like a child, to act like an adult. And I honestly do feel a lot for Cleo because her mom isn't all there entirely. Plus, Frida had the most beautiful, like, romantic apology speech, and then it turns out Harriet was helping her. You can't just do that. No. Boo. You can't take away the one good thing we have left in this world, which was Cleopatra. You can't take it. I refuse to call him Cleta. It has never made me want to punch my screen more in my entire life. When I was watching it, my jaw literally dropped. I'm like, no. Literally, hold on. I'm gonna do a sound effect. That was me banging my fist into a table, by the way. I was so genuinely upset, and I understand you can't get attached to Clone High ships, but come on, I thought we had this one. They seemed healthy, but I guess so did Joan FK. I don't care. But it did seem like they were hinted at their relationship being sort of somewhat fixed eventually, and that they'll eventually be back together. Also, at the end of the last episode, they hinted at JFK and Harriet being a thing. I also was not expecting this show to sell me on Joan and Confucius, but honestly, the minute I realized that they were trying to push that, I was like, an unlikely pairing. Let's see where this is going. I don't like it yet, but we haven't finished the episode. Maybe it'll be good, you know? And it actually did end up being good because they were both just a bunch of nerds nerding out and being silly. And eventually, it did turn out to be a good relationship. And I quite liked their relationship. But the fact that the show is still trying to push Joan and Abe together, even though nobody wants that, and ending up just ruining every single relationship Joan has ever been in. It ruined Joan and JFK, which I didn't particularly ship, but at least they were happy, and convinced Joan that JFK was actually...
No, he's stupid.
Abe is kind of smart. I'm going to think about Abe instead. While I kiss JFK, I'm going to think about another person being my long-term best friend. I do not like Joan and Abe being together. I do not like that idea at all, as you can obviously tell. And the fact that they're now trying to obviously push it and break up Joan and Confucius, which seem like the perfect match for each other. I didn't particularly see why Confucius and Harriet were a good match, because Harriet eventually fell for another guy with her eyeballs, had sex with him with her eyeballs. It's just, Harriet's always kind of been, I wouldn't say flighty, but she's definitely a lot, and Confucius is a bit more, laid back. So, I feel like Confucius and Joan, their personalities, they don't clash, and they kind of more meld together perfectly, because they're both nerds, and neither of them are, particularly high maintenance. Not that Harriet was high maintenance. She just ambitious.
That was what I was looking for. That was the word.
Ambitious. And Confucius's parents are rich, so he's not as ambitious as Harriet is. You know, their personalities didn't really meld together, but Confucius and Joan's personalities did meld together in a way, and the fact that they're trying to break that up by putting Abe and Joan together when clearly 3 seasons of it not working. I have never wanted. I love this show, but I will always hate Joan and Abe together. It's just not it, okay? Let's move on before I punch my camera. Okay. Yes. The last 2 episodes. The 9th episode was kind of interesting. I don't know. It was definitely something. I will say that. We did get a lot more backstory to Scudworth this season than we've ever had, because we learned that he was on a scuba diving team or whatever. He was on that and he lost or whatever, and then we learned his parents were awful and that he may have also possibly murdered his parents, and that the reason he wants Cloney Island is because he never got to have the amusement park experience that his parents had deprived him of. And when he went to the amusement park after he allegedly killed his parents, it was not what he thought it would be. So he decided, oh hey, I'm just gonna make my own and make it perfect to what I had imagined it always would be. And honestly, that's not a bad backstory, and it kind of does just wrap everything together. And how he was like,
the wax figures in the museum, they're not even the real things.
And that's how he got into cloning. That's wild. I'm also a little bit sad that we did not get much Candide in this season. I love Candide's character so much. She's genuinely, I love her. She's the best. I have no words. You know what? I should have worn my gator earrings for lizards. Well, it's too late now. Hashtag free my boy Gandhi. We gotta take our blow dryers out and just aim it at him and free him, because I need him back. He was great. I loved him. Ugh, so sad. My gloves faintly smell like weed, and I do not know why, because I don't smoke weed and nobody in my household smokes weed. That is so weird. Ugh, I don't like that smell. Anyway, man, I haven't even mentioned Mary.
I never liked Mary.
From the start, she gave off way too many I'm not like other girls vibes, even though she probably never explicitly stated that she's not like other girls. And I don't like her all that much, and I never did. But to find out she's actually just Bloody Mary, holy shit, that brings a whole new level of dedication. You really want to deflower a bunch of lame-ass virgins? I get she's Bloody Mary. I get it. And I get that she was also in season 2, and that Harriet, Frida, and Joan were the reasons she escaped, and then she was out in the world, and yeah, honestly, it was a really cool, what's the word? The way it just like circled back to it, you know, it kind of connected, just something we thought was a random scene with Bloody Mary, and connecting some lady named Mary. And Mary is a very common name, so, you know, we weren't, like, connecting, like, oh, hey, this could be Mary Todd Lincoln, or anybody named Mary, honestly. There are a lot of Marys. It is a popular name, and it always really has been.
It could be Mary, Mother of Jesus.
Because we have Jesus, for some reason, in the Clone High universe. I've made a video about why I don't think this is actually Jesus. Check out the card, over here. I think it's just a great callback. That was the word I was looking for, not circle back. It was a great callback, and it was a wonderful plot twist, and it did bring on the, Abe, I'll take your virginity away so that Mary doesn't have to, and you don't die, and that brought JFK himself to say, Abe, I'd fuck you. Nice. That is great. That assassinated President Yowie is what I was looking for, my guy. It's a wild ass sentence. Jesus Christ.
Yes, my child.
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway. Overall, season 3, pretty good. I liked it. I loved it. one thing I noticed, there wasn't as many musical songs, and I guess having a show that its first 2 seasons were built upon it kind of made me a little sad, and it took away the nostalgia of the show, because the musical aspect was definitely something that had been ingrained since season 1, and it was just its thing, and now that it's gone, I'm kind of just sad-ish about it. But hopefully they bring back the musical aspect if they make a season 4. I think they are making a season 4. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure they are because of the cliffhanger they left us on. But they did that in season 1. They left us on a cliffhanger, and then they didn't make another season for 20 years, so who knows? Anyway, I'm going to move on and talk about Total Drama Season 2, the reboot. Oh my gosh, my gloves sometimes fill with air, so every time I apply any sort of pressure to it, it squeaks or farts or something. It's so funny. Total Drama reboot. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. MKX Julia Wen. I'm waiting. I need my enemies to lovers trope to happen now. They need a podcast for sure, and they definitely need to kiss each other, because we had our first MLM ship with Raj and Bowie, but we need our first WLW ship. Please, 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 please have it be MK and Julia. Julia did say that she would date MK. I don't remember the context why she would say that, but she did definitely say that.
If MK's brain drove a cool car, I'd date it.
I've been shipping this since day 1, and oh my gosh. It's amazing, and I love this ship so much. Oh my gosh. I love Julia. She can do no wrong. I love her so much. She's the best. She can do no wrong in my heart. I think I like this season particularly better than the last season of the reboot. I need to bring my mind together and remember all that happened. I definitely found the Caleb and Priya relationship quite funny. How Priya is kind of just like this, oh my gosh, I need to win, that kind of girl. The overachiever, but also kind of chill, awkward kind of girl. And Caleb's kind of just very chill, laid back. Yeah, cool. I'd like to win too. That was my Caleb impression. I crack myself up. Anywho, Caleb, he basically the opposite of Priya. I can see why they click. They kind of balance each other out in a way. Except there was the drama where Z was like, oh, he doesn't actually like her, because I overheard him say once that he didn't actually like her. But then it turned out eventually that he actually did, but Z doesn't know that. And so Z just thinks that Caleb does not like Priya and is using her for an alliance, and eventually he does say that out loud because Julia and MK scare him into it eventually, and he says that, and then he starts spewing other people's secrets as well, but that's a whole thing. And so basically Priya and Caleb have this on and off, hot and cold relationship after that, and again with the overachieving ex-chill guy, the overachieving girl ex-chill guy, same with Harriet and Confucius, it works in the beginning, but then the overachiever gets overachieving and tries to drive the chill guy to do the things the overachiever wants desperately, even if the chill guy does not want that necessarily as much as the overachiever wants it. And so it kind of causes a little bit of a rift. I have seen this before in media, so I know what I'm talking about as your resident total drama expert. Remember Courtney and Duncan? Yeah. It's kind of what it's reminding me of. Overachieving girl and the chill guy. I think it was quite interesting what they did to Scary Girl, because I did like her scary girl personality, and the fact that she was trying to be normal to win the game a bit easier was an interesting strategy, but I didn't quite like that strategy because we did lose an interesting character for a couple of episodes. Somewhat. I also didn't really like her outfit. It was not a look for her. It definitely did not fit her. It was not her for sure. I don't know. We didn't get a lot of Rajbo content, even though it was a major plot point of last season, and they were kind of just the background couple. Not that they were the background couple making out, they were just the background couple where it's hardly mentioned. If you're gonna put a gay couple, at least give them as much coverage as you did Chase and Emma. Also, Chase looks like Brent Rivera. I have no idea if anybody else has pointed this out. It's probably not an original thought, but it is just something that I have thought
In my head.
Anyway, do not like Chase. He's awful. But I do think it was a little bit funny that Emma knows his weaknesses and can trick him into wasting his time trying to record a vlog to go down a water slide. Or were they water slides or were they just regular slides? I don't know. I feel like the challenges were a little less sadistic than they have been in some of the previous seasons before the reboot, because there have definitely been more sadistic challenges. Obviously, they were a little bit more tame, but like they weren't the tamest. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just rambling. Also, the first challenge, I don't know if it was definitely on purpose, but it reminded me of that one, specifically the Squid Game version of Red Light and Green Light, because of the location they chose and the wallpaper walls, the decorations, and the way it was presented and looked was most definitely a Squid Game reference. Also, I had a really weird dream that I think was caused by the Squid Game episode, where for some reason Chris had a challenge with like Skibidi toilet, but for some reason they were squirrels stacked on top of each other in a toilet, and it was obviously supposed to be a Skibidi toilet reference. And then Chris kept saying things like Riz and Yacht for the longest time, aka at least 24 hours. I was convinced the episode was real, and I was highly disappointed because I was just thinking about the episode. I'm like, wow, they really let themselves go getting to Gen Alpha. They already lost us in the intro with, hey, what's up? I'm here to slay. It's terrible. They're trying to be cool. And so when I looked this episode up, I was like, wait a minute. This isn't real. I dreamed this. Holy moly, what? I dreamed it in like the cartoon. Like, it was the cartoon. It wasn't just I dreamed watching the episode. It was so weird. Oh my gosh. If anybody who is on the writing team for Total Drama is watching this, please do not make this an episode. I will pay you literally anything to veto this idea if somebody ever decides to come up with it on their own. I do not want this episode. Please do not have a Skibidi toilet episode, please. I'm still not convinced I made it up also. It was too real. I scare myself sometimes. I don't know where I'm going with what I am trying to say, and I need to wrap it up soon so I can go to bed. Total Drama. It was really good. We need MK and Julia. So bad. Please. I'm also glad that Emma and Chase are no longer dating, because that was a toxic relationship. Chase is an awful person and I do not like him. And I know he's supposed to be the character we do not like. I don't like him. I never will. He's not a redeemable character whatsoever. Julia is such a good character though. Oh my god, I could talk about her for hours. She's basically like the new Heather. Oh my gosh. I think this ship might replace Gwartney in my top Total Drama ships. Ugh, I love MK and Julia's relationship so much. There were multiple times I was convinced they were going to like kiss or confess to each other. I had already known going into the season that they weren't going to be canon and that it was just not something that has happened in the show, and I wanted to believe that the person who told me about this lied to me and wanted me to be surprised or something, and when I found out it was not the case and that MK and Julia were not dating and they were just friends who are awfully close, and I'm not saying friends can't be close or can't have any platonic things that mostly relationships do. I'm just saying I like the duo and I would like for them to date, you know? It's the only thing I want. Please. Give us our sapphic ship. Please. I'm begging you. Please. And that concludes my review of Hazbin Hotel Season 1, Clone High Season 3, and Total Drama Reboot Season 2. Expect more videos about these things if I feel like it. Like, subscribe, comment below, do as I say. Please. I am so close to 600. Please. 600 subs, please. Let's go. I want to make it to 1,000 so you guys can have a room tour. You've only gotten a few glimpses of things, and I know you want to see more because my room is kind of interesting. Look at it. I know you want it. I know you want to look more. So, subscribe, please. Thank you. And bye!